Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing well. In this video, I would like to talk about the second round of the Manufacturers Cup official season for the World Series 2025, where all of us will be driving at Interlagos. Quite an iconic track from the Formula 1 calendar, obviously, but nevertheless, I also would like to talk about the race setting, which will be used for this race here. Furthermore, that I can also show you a time trial lap I've done with the Citroen here. And lastly, that I can also show you a race pace simulation. So that you can also see what kind of lap times you should be aiming for, and also how the tire wear might look like in the middle of the race. Because you've seen at the top of the screen that the tire wear multiplier has been set to ×2 for both the qualifying as well as for the race, and the fuel consumption being set to ×1. And you can also see at the bottom of the screen there that there's no mandatory pit stop available, so that makes this race, I don't really want to say a boring race, but there's not really a strategy involved, unfortunately. So what you have to do is like you have to drive from the start till the end of the race without going into the pits, essentially. But nevertheless, you should still try to be careful here by not getting a single track limit penalty, because you can easily get one here. Well, let's move over to the time trial lap I've done with the Citroen around the circuit. So we're about to set our best lap in the time trial session with the Citroen, and you can already see on the right hand side that I have done quite a lot of laps here already. But the braking marker, or like the braking point into turn 1, is pretty much the last braking marker you can see on the right hand side. Here, for the Senna S, you saw that I was able to cut it quite a lot, and you can also do it, but be careful of not cutting it too much, because if you cut it too much, then you will receive a track limit penalty, so you have to watch out for that one. So going into turn 4, or like the first corner in sector 2, I mean, you also have to try to kind of rotate the car for the exit there, so that you can also try to put the power down as early as you can. As for these two fast right-handers, it's really important to use the curbs on the inside, once again, to try get the rotation of the car here, and so that you can also try to carry as much speed as possible here. Here it's also quite important to use the curbs on the left hand side, so that you can minimize the track distance here. And then it's pretty much the same for the last right-hander here. And once again, you also have to try to put the power down as early as you can. With the Citroen, I had to be careful here a little bit, because the car tend to oversteer a little bit once you put the power down a bit too early. And it was the same for the last corner here, or like for the first corner in sector 3, because there you really want to use the inside curb of sector 3, so that you can also have a good rotation and being able to put the power down as early as you can. And this is a 31.1 with the Citroen. Down below you can also see the sector times, but after that I can also show you the whole sector times from the whole session itself. And after that, you can also see on the leaderboard, which was recorded yesterday, that I was able to place myself P27 in the world. But now, I would like to show you a race pace simulation. As for the race pace simulation, I went over to the world circuit and did a custom race from there, because there you were able to easily set up a race against the other AI cars. But for me personally, it was more about trying to be alone, so that I can also try to showcase the race pace simulation to you guys. Because in the end, as we saw it from the race settings earlier, the fuel consumption rate has been set to ×1, and the tire wear multiplier is set to ×2 for this race. And you can also see that there are only 12 laps available with no mandatory pit stop. So that means that as we can only use the medium tires, we don't really have to worry about our tire wear for this race, but also we don't really have to save fuel anyway, because it's only set to ×1, and we only have to do 12 laps around the circuit. But nevertheless, even though you might be like, there's no strategy involved. Like, with that I mean, for example, if you would like to do an undercut on the driver in front of you in order to, maybe gain few positions by doing so, or that you would like to stay out for a bit longer in order to do the overcut, right? It's not really possible in this case here. Like, obviously you can go into the pits, change your tires, But why would you do that when there's no mandatory pit stop available, but more crucially when the tire wear is set to ×2 only? So in this case, you have to race till the end of the race literally without going into the pits. And you can also see down below, like down below of the screen there, that the fuel consumption is not going to be an issue for all of you. So you don't have to worry about the fuel consumption here. I will also show the entire race pace simulation here so that you can also analyze every single lap here. The pace itself wasn't perfect, obviously, because I think I could have gone a little bit faster here, overall I mean. But crucially, I wanted to showcase the tire wear in this race so that you also don't have to worry about the tire wear of your cars for this race here. And the other part about the consistency I was also trying to talk about was not only do you have to be consistently fast in every single lap, but you also have to try not to get any of the track limit penalties, because through Senna S you can easily get a track limit penalty, and I think due to the way how the track limit has been set in Gran Turismo anyway, like even if you run off the track ever so slightly, like for yourself you would end up losing time, but maybe on few of the other corners if you run off the track just for a tiny bit, then you would also get a track limit penalty there, which is a bit questionable in my opinion, but yeah. But there is something else I forgot to talk about for the Manufacturers Cup tomorrow, which is the qualifying session itself, because the qualifying session itself is going to last 18 minutes. Yes, you've heard it correctly, 18 minutes. So that means that not only like in the previous races where we only had the chance to do 1 or 2 laps, we're able to do a lot of laps instead within those 18 minutes. So because of that, obviously if you're not really able to get the lap on the first go, don't worry about it, because you will have plenty of chances afterwards. And there it's also a bit interesting to see whether all of the other guys from the top split will be able to set their ideal lap time in the end, because I imagine the gap for the top split lobbies at least is going to be so close, because everybody will have the chance to set their lap time within those 18 minutes. And yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see, because as for the race itself, that also lasts for around 18.5 minutes ish. But as the qualifying session lasts for almost the same amount of time as the race distance as well, that's certainly going to be a bit interesting to see where all of the other guys will be able to place themselves at the end of the qualifying session. So yeah, this is also something I'm kind of looking forward to, even though it's a bit awkward to see such a long qualifying session being added here. But as we only have to use the medium tires for the qualifying session as well as for the race anyway, yeah, this is going to be a bit interesting to see how everybody is going to perform during the qualifying session, and obviously for the race afterwards as well. Anyway, like this is the little guide I wanted to showcase to you all. Hopefully this can also help you out for the race tomorrow, so that you can also have a better race by the little analysis I've done for the second round of the Manufacturers Cup at Interlagos. But from my side, I would like to wish you all the best if you want to do the Manufacturers Cup race tomorrow, and also me wishing you a really nice weekend, and hopefully I'll be able to see you guys on the next one. So until then, cheers!